Welcome back. Tonight, News 3 Now is diving into the barriers that inmates are facing behind bars in Dane County.
We're introducing you to a former Madison police officer turned Dane County inmate and the struggles he faced while in solitary confinement. He's a transgender man with a long rap sheet, but still believes conditions in the jail need to improve. Meryl Hubbard joins us in studio to introduce him. Meryl?
Yeah, Eric, Susan, I'm going to introduce you to a transgender man named Elijah Meissner, a lifelong Madison resident and former police officer who's run into trouble with the law. In 2024, he racked up enough charges to spend a significant amount of time in jail. No one, not even Elijah, is questioning whether or not he deserved to go to jail. This story is about how inmates like him are treated once they get there.
When it started in early July, there were totally things that I did wrong, that I could have done better, and I wish I could go back and change.
Elijah's a repeat offender in the Dane County court system. His charges from 2024 include stalking, domestic violence, use of a dangerous weapon, and more.
I accept those mistakes as mistakes. What I take issue with is really the second half of all of this.
The second half, as Eli calls it, is his time spent in the Dane County Jail in solitary confinement.
It was made abundantly clear by the Dane County Jail that they didn't know what to do with me.
Elijah was born a female and transitioned to a male over 4 years ago.
To be transgender and coming into a facility where you may be housed with people who are not accepting of that can be scary. It can be very scary, and we take all of those things into consideration.
PREA, the Prison Rape Elimination Act, does not allow trans individuals to have their own space within the jail. They may be placed into male or female housing depending on their safety.
You're not supposed to separate them from the general population in that way. And so their housing and our housing decisions will be similar to what we're doing right now. We'll be doing it on a case-by-case basis.
Housing is a holistic process and not solely based on gender. Dane County Jail Captain Tetzloff says whenever a new resident comes into the jail, they are evaluated based on their past jail records, physical, medical, and mental health.
I've definitely got a history of mental health issues and definitely addiction. And it was a lot to process.
They may be suicidal, just like other residents who come into the facility, and so that complicates our housing decisions because we need to keep them safe not only from other residents but from themselves sometimes.
The Wisconsin state law says for violating the rules of the jail, an inmate may be kept in solitary confinement under the care and advice of a physician, but not over 10 days.
So they may be held in isolation because their behavior in the facility isn't acceptable to be around other people.
The Dane County Sheriff's Office says Elijah was in solitary confinement for about 3 weeks in August.
To sit in SEG in solitary confinement for even 48 hours, it's hell. You got to figure, especially with like significant mental health issues, like, this is the worst neighborhood in the world for me, and you're trapped in there with it.
Solitary confinement is a last resort, according to the jail staff.
Our hands are kind of tied as far as our options for being able to house them. We are not a mental health facility.
But it still is a cinder block cell, and we think that this type of housing is not helping anyone, especially going through a mental health crisis.
Sergeant R.J. Lurquin gave News 3 Now a tour of how the jail exists today, saying their mental health accommodations may change with the new jail that is being built.
So the new jail is going to provide almost more of like a hospital type setting. It's still going to be a jail, but it's not going to be a cinder block cell.
We're hopeful that the new jail, we have some mental health housing units and a medical floor to be able to have medical close to the people who most need that services.
Those kinds of services are what Elijah says he needed while in jail, especially since it was such a big shift compared to his past.
Worked in law enforcement. The boots on the ground are who I have respect for.
Elijah was an MPD officer for 8 years and resigned in 2021. He says he's trying to put the pieces together now that he's found himself on the other side of the law.
It was really and it still is, it was really like my entire world got shaken up and flipped upside down, and I'm still trying to figure out where everything is. I don't know.
Since we interviewed Elijah, we have received information from MPD saying he's now in custody on new charges, including battery and disorderly conduct while armed. We still thought it was important to show this story so people can understand the current conditions and classifications in the jail. The Sheriff's Department tells me the new jail won't be completed for at least another 3 years.